We were paying lawyers, and we would always know what they were planning. 10 years probated after spending a whole lot of money. And after 3 years, they let me off because I was in compliance. But my brother, we wasn't supposed to even leave the city limits without letting them know. Man, he was all up in New York.
How long was this run with you having the apartment complex and the 12 units? And how long did you and your brother, you know?
um, as a matter of fact, my brother died in 2001. So that's when he was in it. But I ended before that because, I let it alone.
Your brother was still pimping at his, like, before he died, right before he died.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Car business and some other things too, but yeah, he still had girl.
What made you get out of the game? What was your final point, breaking point?
Well, I never planned it to be long term in the first place. It was just fun for me. I done it, but my heart wasn't in it because I know it wasn't right. You understand? I really was always a God fearing person. It's just life is just like driving. You know, so I always tried to stay more to the right. Regardless of what direction. I tried to stay more to the right, but I took some wrong exits. Then I messed around and I got off into the drug scene and I started snorting cocaine. I had an escort service. I had a clothing store by Love Field. And I tell people all the time, everybody in your crowd ain't in your corner. And everybody in your corner ain't in your crowd. I had one buddy out of Chicago who used to come here. Like escort service. I had my girls, but then I used other guys' girls too because when, I had remote phones, so it might show a number in California, but, it'd be right here. But, a guy called and he requests, you know, what he looking for. So if I didn't have it, then. But anyway, so I ended up started with one-on-one, they call it. I was putting $300 or $400 a day up my nose. That wasn't good.
So you was like a functioning cocaine addict.
Well, yeah. But then the guy I was telling you about from Chicago, he would come and spend a lot of time. He'd bring his girl and stuff down. But he and another friend of mine, I came to my pop one day and they were cooking cocaine, so turn it into crack. And I said, oh no. And eventually, they got me to try it. Well, before that, I had tried it 2 or 3 times, and I used to call people for that little 1-2 second high, and they, going through all of this. But this guy showed me how to inhale it and hold it, and he was doing it because he knew I was a free-hearted person. And he knew if he got me hooked, then he'd have a free ride. And that's what happened. Losing clothing stores. I had 7 or 8 cars. Everything. I mean, But all that's part of life.
How was because you actually lived through what we see on TV screens now. You see a lot of sitcoms and TV shows, and which is the same thing as sitcom, and also movies about the crack scene. How intense was it? Do you feel like the movies are showing us what really happened?
A lot of stuff that you see, most of it, it's really, it's far off from the real deal. I would get out, and leave the streets. But you know, the enemy, the devil, always know what you like. I would leave it alone, and I would start doing something else. And then somebody would call me and says, "Larry, this lady's here, and she says she want to be with you, and she got a lot of money, da da da," and and that would pull me away, and I would end up back in the street. So I had this Hispanic girl. She was a hooker, but she also had she was half Hispanic and half white, and she had a lot of Cuban connection, and she had a lot of clientele, like Thomas Henderson, Harvey Morton, a lot of. I don't know whether I should reveal their names, but
Did you just name some NFL?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. There used to be a class for, Sarah. She sold cocaine stuff, right? And so she had